Hi guys, I'm going to present you with our proactive password checking tool solution made for the HCS exercise 2, and this is our team introduction. Myself is Asad Said and my group mates are Vladimir, Nikolov, Thomas, Richard and so on. So I'm going to introduce you with the overview of the presentation. First of all, that would be problem, our introduction, context, literature review, solution and accessibility, proposed solution, and then reflection at last. No, what's the problem is that we have to communicate elderly people that may suffer from some mental issues, memorizing their passwords that result in and end up choosing very simple passwords for their online applications or mobile phones and find difficult to remember passwords. So we have made a proactive password checker tools that guides them to select for the best passwords and help them memorize as well. The context, well, in the context, it's not only the web they get interaction with. So there are a lot of applications that they might use on their mobile phones, tablets, laptops, and even up to the online banking accounts. So the target audience would be elderly people, and the target applications devices would be mobile phones, tablets, and web. So from here on, my group mate will take over. That's the literature review.
For our literature review, we examined a number of papers on what we determined were the two primary issues in the project. These were the proactive password checker itself and elderly users' requirements. In researching the proactive password checker, we looked at multiple sources. We looked at Chris Davis and Ravi Jansen's paper, which outlined the major issues surrounding proactive password checkers. This paper highlighted two extreme potential scenarios for password checkers. One was in which users were given complete freedom to choose any password they wanted to. In this scenario, we had a system that was highly user-friendly but presented numerous security problems. The other scenario presented in this paper involved generating a random string of characters and assigning this password to a user. This was the most secure option for generating passwords, but was highly non-user friendly. This paper was extremely helpful for defining our project within these two extreme examples, and our job for this project was to find a good compromise between these two extremes. Another paper we looked at in this area is Zhanjin Jeff Yan's paper on password security, Matt Bishop and Daniel Klein's papers on security improvement. These papers guided our understanding of the technical aspect of password creation. From these texts, we learned the prevalence of dictionary attacks and the need to avoid the use of common words as passwords. These papers also looked at the concept of password entropy and highlighted the need to generate passwords that would not be susceptible to brute force attacks. Within the concept of elderly users' requirements, we looked at multiple papers. The primary texts we used in this part of our research included an article entitled "Helping Elderly Users Protect Passwords Online," as well as James Danowski and William Sachs' paper on computer communication and the elderly, and D. Hawthorne's possible implications of aging for interface designers. From these texts, we can highlight multiple key requirements of elderly users to consider in our design. Firstly, these texts highlighted the need for large characters to assist elderly users who may have visual impairments. Secondly, we learned that elderly users respond best to interfaces that are highly interactive. Thus, it would be prudent to include clear and immediate feedback to users regarding their suggested passwords. Thirdly, these texts highlighted the likelihood of elderly users forgetting their passwords, thus suggesting the need for an alternative method of user verification in our password checker.
Alright, so how do we solve all these problems that my colleague mentioned? Well, first of all, we need to develop our application with accessibility in mind. So some of the users may not be able to see all that well. Some of them may easily forget stuff such as passwords. So how can we counteract this? Well, we can use a monochromatic font get away with any issues we might have with colorblind people. Uh, we can also give them friendly warnings on the screen as what a password should be and what it shouldn't be based on what they are typing. Um, we are also restricting them on using too simple of a password, such as any word in the English dictionary. And we also have a fingerprint scanner uh, for those who often forget their password, and that's another way to authenticate instead of just the regular username and password. So this is an example from a register page. When you type in a password, it tells you everything that is wrong with it. For example, awesome is a terrible password. It's too short. It needs more symbol variety because we've only got uppercase and lowercase characters. So we ask the user to consider adding numbers or symbols to make it less common. Our proposed solution overall is a proactive password checking tool that is built using the Apache Cordova framework. Now, this framework supports multiple platforms, mobile as well as browser, and that will enable us to use the fingerprint scanner. And it also uses JavaScript code, so it's very easy to deploy and run. Now, the features we include in our password checking tool are the ability to restrict passwords to at least 8 characters long. Also, they can't use any dictionary words, they can't use any common passwords. It also restricts the use of it also restricts the use of regular passwords, those without any symbols or special characters on them. And we do give out on-screen warnings in a rather large font so they can be easy to read. And for those who have trouble remembering their passwords, we have a fingerprint scanner to authenticate them in that way. So overall, our design has fulfilled most of our stated goals. It proactively encourages users to make better passwords, and all of that is achieved with a large font so they can easily read it and understand it well. The fingerprint scanner provides access in case a user forgets their password, and at all times you have clear instructions about the password security, and everything is done in real time as the user is typing them.